Hey, teacher.
What's up, man? Rafa, excellent. Isaac and Alex, let's do this and let's watch a new video, the next video that you are going to study during the next objective. The next objective, you have three grammatical objectives and one writing. So the second objective will be adverbs. This is going to be the next section, and we are going to study what type of adverbs exist in our language, in English. What do they do? What are they for? What is the object, like the usage? What is the usage of adverbs? And that's going to be the mission for this week. But of course, I'm going to deliver the vocabulary for the next video before we go there. Okay? On screen, you have a list of words that correspond to the next video that we are going to study, and it's about language. Okay? It's about language, which is precisely a topic that is interesting for us because we are going to, well, that's what we are studying here, no? We are becoming better and more adequate on speaking this language. Therefore, let's take a screenshot to understand the video, and let's watch it only once. No, let's accelerate the process because we have a lot of activities to do. Then I'm going to give you right now 7 minutes to read the vocabulary. After the 7 minutes, you tell me if there's a question. Okay,
Yes, teacher.
let's go. Time's up. Difficult?
Not too much, I think.
Not too much. Great. Perfect, because it's going to be an interesting ride. Who is familiar with the Vox YouTube channel? The videos that I have been showing you come from the Vox YouTube channel. Have you ever seen them?
Yes, I remember that I saw one, but a long time ago, I think.
Interesting. Interesting. Well,
Yes.
that's good.
Teacher, I have a question regarding the vocabulary.
Sure.
What is could you please provide us with an example of the word 13?
13-ish. Ah, because it's a suffix. And we haven't seen suffixes. Well, that's one of the suffixes that we do. So a suffix is not technically a word; it's part of a word. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's a portion of information that changes the word.
Okay,
For
yes.
example, right? Let's say it's different to say
Selfish.
selfish, for example,
It's
versus
like,
selfishness. No,
oh yes, like there is another word like hopeless.
hopeless, for example, which comes from the word hope, and then you add less, and it's a very different word.
Yes.
No, perfect. So the word less, syllables like less, ish, it, etc., changes the word. This one
Mm-hmm.
in particular is used with adjectives only.
Okay, okay.
And this is a very interesting one because it changes the adjective in a way that gives it a degree of intention, how intense something is. For
Okay.
example, let's say that the color blue in the background has a little tone of green. Do you agree? It's not completely blue, no? Especially this circle over here, for example. This decoration here is
Mm-hmm.
kind of blue, but it's kind of green too. That's when ish enters. The color is greenish, bluish.
Okay, okay.
You see, that's why the definition is like to make other adjectives meaning slightly,
Mm-hmm.
fairly, kind of.
Okay.
You see,
Yes, I get it.
that's the one. This is one of the vocabularies or the types of vocabulary that comes from natural speech, and it's super common in informal conversations. You know, super common.
Okay, yes.
That's the one. Perfect. Any other question about the vocab?
No,
All
I
right.
think.
Perfect. Then I will send the vocabulary to you via WhatsApp. Here's this week's vocab. And let's watch the video together. Ready? Let's go.
Locals seem hopeless.
Let's turn off. Ready.
There's a saying in Hong Kong kung fu movies. It means only speed is unbreakable. That's in Cantonese, a language with tones, which English speakers have trouble distinguishing. So when an American says that phrase with the wrong tones, you get a Cantonese meme.
It became kind of a joke that people will send to each other. It's like, oh, this badass Wi-Fi is so good. It's quite funny.
If English is your first language, though, you might be more familiar with a different joke. Supplies! That's the notion that East Asians mix up their R's and L's in English. It's a running gag in Lost in Translation, an Oscar-winning film about two Americans who are sad in Japan.
Rat pack, you know rat pack? Rat pack? Rat pack.
The movie makes communication with the locals seem hopeless.
Lift my stocking.
Hey, lift them.
And at one point, Scarlett Johansson's character asks,
Why do they switch the R's and the L's here?
For yucks.
this movie might be a bit rude, but it's not a terrible question to ask. Because if you're genuinely curious, a foreign accent gives us a chance to learn something about another language. So this trope has been applied to Japanese, Korean, and Chinese speakers. But all of these languages deal with R's and L's in different ways. First, though, we need to talk about the R sound in English. It turns out there isn't just one way to pronounce it.
Oh, it's incredibly varied.
Eleanor Lawson uses ultrasound to study English phonetics.
Have chilled R's, which are a sort of a R sound. You can probably hear my tapped R, so I do a R sound. Varied. You can have a retroflex R, where your tongue essentially curls upside down under your palatal arch.
Run.
One.
She says the bunched R, which is common in North American English, is particularly complex.
Nurse.
Nurse.
Say the word fur. How would you tell someone where to put their tongue to make that R? The middle of the tongue rises up in the mouth while the root of the tongue is pulling backwards, and you might have some lip rounding as well. R sounds like this, where the airflow isn't blocked by the tongue or the lips, are called approximates in phonetics.
So forming all of these strictures at the same time could be very difficult for someone who's not used to producing that.
The R sound is one of the last consonants that English-speaking kids learn to say. It takes up to 5 adorable years for them to figure it out.
Poo-poo and red.
And the L sound in English can change depending on its position in a word. Say the word ladle or level. That first L is a clear L. You can probably feel your tongue touching the top of your mouth right behind your teeth, as in lead. But the L at the end of the word is a dark L, where the tip of the tongue might not even touch the top of your mouth at all.
A dark L is where the back of the tongue is moving up towards the soft palate, and it gives it a sort of O-ish sound, so like an O.
Level. So the English R and L are complicated, but still,
Rat pack.
they seem like pretty different sounds. It might help to look at Spanish. Say the word salero.
Salero, salt shaker. Salero.
This R is made with a flap of the tongue on the ridge behind the front teeth. That's not too far away from where the L is pronounced.
Salero, hora, varios, oruga, pare.
Japanese has that R sound. It doesn't have the L in lake or the R in red.
We have rariru, which sounds kind of similar to both L and R.
Those are the 5 syllables in Japanese that contain the tongue flap sound.
Rariru.
Try saying them.
Rarirurero.
When they're converted into the Latin alphabet, they're spelled like this, with the letter R. But the Japanese R sound
La.
is actually closer to our L sound, la, than it is to the English ra.
My name is Mariko, and for all of my English-speaking friends, their intuition to say is Mariko. And then how I explain to them is just imagine my name spelled with M-A-L-I-K-O, and then you should be fine.
When words migrate from English to Japanese, both R's and L's become Japanese R's.
Garasu, calendar, bowling, light.
There are thousands of these loan words that Japanese speakers have to relearn with ers and uls, which are 2 sounds that Japanese ears weren't tuned to distinguish in the first place. Like Japanese, Korean doesn't have the English sound. They have this letter.
It's leer,
Leer.
leer,
Leer.
Lil.
Like my tongue is going straight up to the roof of my mouth.
Leer.
It takes on a different sound depending on its position within the word. So when it's followed by a vowel, it has the flap sound like a Japanese R.
둘이서, 둘이서,
That also means it's written with the letter R when converted into Latin script.
둘이서,
But when it's at the end of a word,
제발,
or is followed by a consonant,
들리다.
it sounds more like an L sound, and it's transcribed in the Latin alphabet as L. So it's pretty unlikely that Korean speakers would say hero, since their L sound can map on to the English L. But the dark L doesn't exist in Korean. So when they're new to English, Koreans might use their own L sound in spots where we would use a dark L, near the ends of words.
As the story unfolds, someone may change the word.
There are at least 8 major Chinese languages, but we'll look at Mandarin and Cantonese. They both have a clear L sound, and it's restricted to the beginning of syllables.
Lang is like pretty.
La, drag.
So the notion that they would switch fa la la into fa ra ra, it's just wrong, and the makers of A Christmas Story should feel bad. Like Korean, Mandarin and Cantonese don't have the dark L sound, as in pull. But when they come across an L near the end of a word in English, they tend to pronounce it more like a vowel.
Wow. 100 years old, 90 years old. I said, we should respect this kind of people.
You chose the coldest possible, really.
Mandarin does have an R sound. At the beginning of a syllable, it sounds like this.
So like actually maybe the R is like sounds more like the S in treasure. 任性.
And at the end of a syllable,
it means sun.
Cantonese, on the other hand, doesn't have an R sound at all. So when speaking English, they sometimes use a W sound or an L sound.
You know, we just tried very hard to prove ourselves.
Our ability to produce sounds in a new language depends in part on whether those sounds are meaningfully distinct in our first language. So a Japanese speaker hearing ul and it's a lot like an English speaker hearing tones in Chinese.
Lang, 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 lang.
Ma, 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 ma. Yeah, so I know people's mind just blown away.
We all carry the rules of our native language with us when we learn new languages.
Accent is your identity. So I don't want to sound like an American person or British person.
So if you hear a foreign accent, remember that it's a unique hybrid. It's like a lion with stripes, something you can only get if you're brave enough to venture beyond the comfort of your mother tongue. If you enjoyed this...
Exactly. I really like the last line, but I want to know if you got it. I want to know if you understood it. What did you understand on the video? Let's start with Rafa. Are you there, Rafa?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't found the mute button.
Okay.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Just tell me what did you understand on the video? What was mentioned?
It was very interesting for me because they talk about the different pronunciation of words,
right?
From the Oriental people, no, and
right,
and yeah, and for example, I think it's cultural knowledge, the fact of the Asian Oriental people don't say R, they say L, and yeah, it makes a lot of sense for me.
It does, definitely does. Yes, because there is a lot of common misconception. Many people consider that it's super normal for them to change it, but we never study why really they do that, and if we are correct, are they really changing the L, or is a personal, is a cultural perspective, no? It's massive.
Yeah, I didn't think about that before today.
Great.
Watching video, yeah.
Oh, this is one of my favorite videos, man. Like really, every time I watch it, I just want to memorize the whole thing because it's fantastic. The information is great. And this actually, like for example, this girl, her name is Joss Fong. I follow her on Twitter because of this video. Actually, many of the videos that she writes, especially, she has very good topics, and it's interesting because her heritage is precisely Asian. Her family is
Yeah.
Asian. So yeah, super interesting, super interesting video. Okay, what about Michael? What did you understand on the video?
I understand they are many language culture has different tones, and these
Yes.
tones it's complicated to reproduce the song when in English, no, in English language. For example,
Precisely.
the problem is the tongue is or tongue, the vibration is different, is complicated in different culture or language.
In what culture in specific did you catch that?
And Japanese, so Japanese or Chinese, no, Chinese.
It was
Because
Chinese.
Chinese, because the pronunciation R is complicated for them.
For them. Yes.
Because this sound doesn't exist in this language.
Exactly. Exactly. What is which makes you think, no? What sounds don't exist? You know, for an American, no, for a Chinese person, it's difficult to adapt to English because many sounds don't exist. No, probably in Spanish we have a very similar issue because some sounds don't exist in English. If you observe in Spanish, sorry. If you observe the soundboard, yes, tell me, sorry.
No, yeah. In the fact, I detected the letter D. D in Spanish is D. In English, is different. Is lovely. No, it's soft D. The sound.
Softly.
Soft.
Precisely. We consider that when we see this with this letter or this symbol, we consider this is easy. We are familiar. I am familiar with this sound. Not really, eh? Not really. It's a very different position in the tongue. Look at the picture, and the tongue is going up. You know? But if you pronounce this letter in Spanish, your tongue is not in that position. Everybody pronounce Daniela. Daniela. Where is the letter D? Where is your tongue? Where is your tongue when you pronounce Daniela?
I think that in your teeth, no?
Exactly. It's between your teeth. Oh, surprise. When you consider English, this specific position corresponds to a different sound. Look at this. You see? So our Spanish D is equivalent to the English TH when you pronounce month, or when you pronounce through, or when you pronounce the, you know? Oh my God, so we never considered that before, right? It's something amazing. I love that. And these are little observations that we learn to watch. They are invisible if you don't really pay attention to your pronunciation. And if you hurry up, you need to slow down and analyze your
Teacher,
pronunciation. Yes, Rafa.
can you repeat the example of this pronunciation?
The sound. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. So I can show you with a little sketch. So this is your mouth. No, it goes like this. This is your palatal location. This is your lips, and this is your bottom lip. Right? Goes like this. This is the bottom of your tongue, and there's your throat. Right? So your tongue, when you pronounce Daniela in Spanish, which is the letter D, right? Technically, the position of your tongue, oops, goes like this. Your tongue goes up, and you put it between your teeth. Right? You are pronouncing this symbol, Daniela. The. Probably I need to put it a little bit like that so I can draw the teeth. This is teeth number 1, and this is teeth number 2. But when you pronounce in English, the, feel the position of your tongue, the. Technically is the same, you see? So the Spanish D is equivalent to the English TH. What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That observation, we never do that because we never study phonetics. And that's the reason we pronounce with accent. Sometimes, for example, some Mexican people who travels to the United States, they take the Spanish pronunciation of the letters. It's very difficult to communicate with Indian and Hindi people because in Hindi, the phonetics are also different. So the pronunciation is totally very strange sometimes to understand. Even if they are speaking grammatically correct, the pronunciation is what we don't understand.
Yeah.
Crazy, no?
Yeah, I didn't think about this
Yes.
before.
So then, how do you pronounce this in English? Check this out.
D.
Your tongue goes up into the palatal bridge, that's the name, and then it makes a little explosion. When you pronounce, for example, Dr. Dolittle, doctor is a good doctor.
Yeah.
You see?
Doctor.
The tongue is up, it's not in your teeth. Doctor.
Okay, yeah.
Crazy, no?
Yeah.
That's the phonetics in English. That's why this one is crazy. So imagine if you don't know that information, imagine a person from China that has very different sounds. The R and the L sound different with a different alphabet, and it's very distant, very, very, very distant for them.
Yeah, I remember last name. I think it's a last name. Marico.
That was her
Marico.
last name.
But for but for her, because was a girl who said this, Marico is with an L.
Yes.
Yes, and it was like, wow.
Exactly. Technically, when you transform the Chinese alphabet to the, I don't know, I don't remember the name of our alphabet. I think it is, I don't remember our alphabet, the name. Their sound of R is equivalent to an L. But when you transform it to our alphabet, then it's an R, and the pronunciation is similar to an R. So imagine the complexity. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, totally. That's what happened with Mariko. So yes, when you think about that and you start observing, you can feel better with your progress of English, because some people have it more difficult than you, number one, and number two, you have a very good level of English. We need to improve, yes, of course. There is a lot of industries that need a higher score in your TOEFL, but your progress in this moment is great.
Yeah.
Your progress in this moment is massive.
What if you read Marico in English and you will pronounce it wrong?
Of course, you're gonna pronounce Mariko, rah rah rah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
when they are going to pronounce Mariko, rah 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 rah, with this sound. Actually, this sound, I extracted it from this video. Actually,
Darirurero.
rah 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 rah.
Okay.
Because this specific sound is equivalent to the Spanish R, which is in salero, oruga, varios. But in English, it's in the T. A lot of little, water, better.
It's like a soft R.
In Spanish.
Yeah.
The Spanish soft R is used in English in the T.
Yeah.
Another observation.
Okay.
I know. This is one of my favorite videos. I really like what's up with this. So good observation, Mike. Good observation. So Michael was saying precisely that Chinese people have levels of, what was the name, Michael? Degrees, volume, no, tones.
Tones,
Tones, no. That is impossible to understand for a Spanish speaker, no. Totally impossible. That was this section. It's crazy. It's the moment with more play. Do you see that? Like, many people has repeated this section of the video.
Lang, 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 lang.
What? It's the same word. It's the same word, it's the same pronunciation, but it's a different tone. And we don't distinguish tones. We don't understand tones. They do. You see? That was a good observation, Mike. Good job. Very, very good. Okay, what about Alex? What did you get?
I see the same that my my I forget the word. My classmate, the position of the tongue gives a variety of sounds that meaning in that results in different meanings, no?
Yes, 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 yes. Good. Meanings, I don't know if meanings, but at least words. Words, yes. Because meaning is more like definition and is more complex.
Okay,
But
but
words,
actually,
definitely.
to the listener, sounds like the same word, no? But if if you don't understand the context, maybe you uh, imagine that it's the same word, no? It is the same word.
Yes, totally true. Yes, of course. In context, yeah, everything changes, definitely. And your pronunciation can affect context. That's what you're saying, no?
Yes.
Definitely, definitely. This is something super important. Mhm. Or even
Yeah.
not have context at all. So that's super important. Good thing. Okay, guys. Well, that's precisely the mission for the week. During the week, you are going to respond some questions about this video. For example, what is the difference between the Chinese R and the American R? What is the difference between the Spanish R and the American R? Where is the mistake? Why, in general, we think that Chinese people change the R's and the L's? You know, all these answers are in this video. Very, very specifically spoken. And it's very similar, the complexity is similar to yesterday's video, so you should study, open your video constantly, study it, etc. Okay? Let me pass this video to you via WhatsApp. There we go.
Teacher, will we work with this video the Friday?
Exactly. Well, not Friday because it's gonna be on Tuesday because we have one day. We moved to one day.
Okay.
So yes, that's gonna be for until next week.
Okay. It's
Meanwhile, we are going to go directly to the first section of adverbs. Okay, taking the chance that everybody is here, we can start the first adverbs lesson. So, you know, again, we are going to talk about suffixes, no? And we have been working with this color code. Do you remember that? The color code that we talked about? Actually, I am missing one. I am missing also chunks. Yes, do you remember or you don't remember? Very bad memory. What's going on with your memory, guys? No, you don't remember what's going on?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we remember. Bueno, sorry.
At least you.
Actually, yes.
Exactly. Perfect. So that's exactly the thing. These specific colors are going to help us understand the parts of the sentence. Because we are going to, the parts of the speech, the family words, the word families. Because it has a lot to do with the position of words, what words are necessary to use, what is the correct usage of the word, and to distinguish one and another. Sometimes we confuse them a lot, no? we were talking, for example, about home and homeless. No, you collocate less, and now it is not in the same family. Well, the same happens with the rest of the words, and today we are going to add a new color purple. Purple is going to be the new color that we are going to use to identify adverbs. Okay? So let's talk about the difference between these two. How do they work? Let's talk about this photo. You can see Vin Diesel, and you can see him very stylish, no? In a funeral of his friend. Do you remember that scene in the movie? It was the Chinese guy who, you know, died. And he's wearing a suit. He's wearing a shirt with no tie. So Vin Diesel is too stylish for a tie. He has a very specific style, and he doesn't like to wear ties. Do you agree with me? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. What happens if we remove the verb to be and we get another verb? You know? Let's take a look at this first example. Stylish. What type of word is this?
An adjective,
And how do you know it's an adjective?
because it is describing the Vin Diesel.
It's describing Vin Diesel, so it's describing a noun.
Yeah, no.
Perfect. That's precisely the thing we are talking about. Look at this second example. If you see the first one, it says Vin Diesel is very stylish because he goes 2 buttons undone on the dress shirt. Remove the verb to be and let's use the verb going. We have this example, Vin Diesel stylishly going 2 buttons undone on the dress shirt. Vin Diesel stylishly going 2 buttons undone under the dress shirt. What do you observe here?
Well, I think that the first part is that the how do you say, like the word category change, and the first one is describing Vin Diesel, and the second one is describing the verb.
Very good. The first one is describing Vin Diesel, like you said, like Rafa said, and the second one, excellent, Isaac. That's precisely the thing. You are describing the verb going, because you are describing the way he is going. The way he is going. Let's write that. We are describing the way he's going. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Finally, there is an extra word that is purple. In the first example, we say Vin Diesel is very stylish. So what's going on with the second example? With the first example, sorry. What is very doing? Does anyone know?
I think that we are using that word to emphasize the next word, the adjective. Like,
very nice. Emphasize. I really like this description. In the second example, the word very is now describing or emphasizing how stylish he is. Take a note over here. There we go. So here you have the first 2 out of 3 applications for the word, for an adverb, sorry. An adverb has 3 applications. Number 1, we describe the way something is done. Number 2, we are using this to emphasize another description. But also, we have other applications. And these applications are right here. They describe the way you do things. They emphasize an adjective. They emphasize another adverb. Or we introduce more ideas. Let's see some examples. Okay. Let's talk about the adverb the adverbs ending, for example, in this one. Let's try with this one. Desperately. Okay. Let's go to the dictionary and let's find the word desperately. Adverb. Definition, help me. Isaac.
Yes. In a way that shows you have little hope and are ready to do anything without worrying about danger to yourself or others.
Good. Good, good. And read the example. That's the one we care for.
Yes, she looked, yes, desperately around for a week.
Look at the pronunciation.
With the adjective, with the adverb, sorry.
The adverb, yes, of course.
Desperately.
Yes. Identify the number of syllables. Number 1, des. Number 2, per. Number 3, at. So we have 3 syllables. Desperate. That one is interesting. It's desperate, not desesperate, which is similar to Spanish.
Yes.
You see, in Spanish we have an extra syllable.
Yeah.
One more time. One more time. Let's go.
Yes, she looked she looked desperately around for a weapon.
Very good. Desperately around for a weapon. This particular example is describing how the person was looking for a weapon. I repeat, this example is describing how the person was looking for a weapon. So what are we describing in this case? Anyone?
Which one?
In this example, she looked desperately around for a weapon.
I think that she looked. I think that it's describing she looked the way that she's doing something, she is describing like the action.
Exactly. The way she's doing what in this case?
Looking. Well,
The way. That's right. One more time. Organize your ideas. You can.
Sorry, just it's describing the how she was looking for a weapon. No?
Perfect. How she was looking for a weapon. That's right. So the question here is very interesting because the function number 1 is directly connected to the question how. Directly. Every time you ask how, the answer is an adverb. Easy as that. And you can talk about different ways to respond how. Do you have any idea or any other example? What happens if I ask you how do you make coffee? What would you answer?
What was the question, teacher?
Again? Yes, of course. If the adverb is directly connected with the word how, with the question how.
Yeah.
So what if I ask you, how do you prepare coffee?
Okay.
Answer that question in only one word. How do you prepare coffee?
Yeah. Slowly.
Slowly. Perfect. That's an adverb.
Yeah.
This is a good identification when you say, okay, the difference between slow and slowly. The word slow would be incorrect in this context. The correct word would be slowly. Very good, Rafa. For example, if I tell you, Michael, how do you study for the exam?
Hardly.
Hardly. Close. Because hardly exists. But we are going to see tomorrow that this is an exception.
Okay.
Yes, that's you caught the exception. No, another.
Enthusiastically.
Okay, enthusiastically.
Enthusiastically. Okay.
Because the description is enthusiastic. Enthusiastically, we need another syllable.
Okay, enthusiastically. Okay. Enthusiastically. Okay.
Another good example.
Okay.
Very good. If I ask Isaac, how do you eat every day? What kind of diet do you have?
Did you ask to me, teacher?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I had some issues with my internet. Well,
Okay.
to be healthy.
Healthy, but you don't eat healthy.
Oh.
Your food is healthy, but how do you eat?
How?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not sure. Is it correct to say fast, or do I need to add like L-E?
Well,
Why?
in this case, similar to Michael,
Yeah.
that's going to be tomorrow's topic. Fast is an exception.
Yes, I remember that. We don't use like the ly to.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's right. It's fast adjective exists as an adjective, but then you go to the word families and it exists as an adverb too.
Yeah.
How do you know the difference? Well, in the example. Oh, quickly.
Oh, yes,
Quickly,
that's
second
better.
season.
Yes. For this example. Yes, I eat quickly.
Precisely.
Yep.
Precisely. Very, very good. The difference between one and another, let's say, for example, the difference between fast adjective versus fast adverb is the position of the word. So you need to understand when you need an adjective and when you need an adverb, because sometimes we confuse them because they are descriptions. The only way to distinguish them is to check what verb you are using. If it's the verb be, you need an adjective. If it's an action verb, you need an adverb.
Could you repeat that part, please?
Yes, of course, I repeat. If you have the verb be or a linking verb, you need an adjective. Do you remember linking verbs?
I think.
Previous classes.
Yes.
Passive voice without be.
Yes, like seems.
Exactly.
Yes,
Seems, become, get, go, all these verbs
Yes.
need an adjective, a normal description.
Yes.
Quick in this case. But if you have an action verb, like drive, like go, like rise, or beat, then you need an adverb.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Exactly, that's the way. Because it's very common to hear, I want to remember a mistake. Students say, you are very quickly. You are very quickly. And it's like, what's the mistake there?
Yes, well, I'm not sure. I think that it sounds weird.
Exactly.
They are using as a verb.
They are very quickly. Exactly. They need an adjective, but they're using quickly.
Yeah.
So how do you transform quickly to an adjective? No problem, I can help you. Omit the li the last syllable is transforming the word.
You're very quick.
That's it. You're very quick.
Yeah, but in this case, quick is not an adverb. It's
It's an
an
adjective.
adjective.
Because
Yeah.
you are using the verb be. You are very quick.
Yeah, but if you say you did it very quickly, no, you
That's
did
correct.
quickly, you did it quickly. Yeah.
That one is correct because did is an action verb. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Exactly. Very good.
I think I'm catching you.
Perfect. Because that's precisely the objective. Many people focus on the adverb and the adjective. But really, you need to pay attention on the verb. The verb gives you all the information that you need. You see? Not the description. The description is only extra information.
Yeah, okay.
Good job, man. Good job. Let me write this example on the board while Jessie passes attendance. Okay, go Jessie.
Thank you. Good night.
Yes, of course.
Is here Mike?
Here.
Hi, Mike. Thank you. Rafael?
Hello, Jesse. I'm here.
Hi, Rafael. Thank you. Good night. Silvana?
Sylvie, yes, pero anda en el camino todavía.
Ah, well, yes. Isaac?
Hello, here.
Hi, Isaac. Thank you. Good night. And Alex.
Alex se fue temprano. Se desconectó antes de que te entraras.
All right. So that's all. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice night.
You too.
See you.
Very good. So one of my first objectives with you guys, is to make you aware. Do you know what is aware?
Yes, let us know.
Exactly. That you are alert in any case. So one of my objectives is to make you aware when you are committing a mistake, so you can self-correct yourself. No, with practice, it's like, okay, I understand the difference between quick and quickly. I need to pay attention on the verb. If I say I go, I need to use quickly. And if I say I am, I need to use quick. If I say I am quickly, then I need to express some things in a normal conversation and say, my bad, I'm sorry, let me say that again, I am quick. You see, so you can self-correct yourself. That's one of my objectives with you, to make you completely aware of what you are saying, so you can self-correct yourself. In a normal, let's say an evaluation like TOEFL or Cambridge, they consider a lot when you correct yourself. You speak incorrectly, and then you say, I'm sorry. You say that again, and you correct your mistake, and they give you points for that. Super nice. Okay. So that's going to be one of my missions with you. So let's talk about, for the moment, the information that we have. I give you the difference between desperately and desperate. The two words are B2 words. And I'm going to give you these examples to you. If you have a linking verb, like be, seem, become, feel, smell, you need an adjective. If you say an action verb, you need an adverb. There we go. That's going to be a golden rule of adverbs. Any question, my people?
So far, so good, teacher.
So far, so good. So good to hear you that. Then let's keep it over here. Very good job. That's the introduction to the next week. Let's see if we can cover this topic as soon as possible to recover the time. We finished, guys. Excellent job. I will see you tomorrow. Right? Good job.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you to you. See you later.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.